I believe that having the privilege of being a content creator in the world comes with a deep set of responsibilities. And the more and more I lead with higher purpose and create a higher vision for projects that I'm producing, the more amazing people I find are drawn to me, including actress Lindsay Wagner, who's quite an advocate for human potential. So what I'm saying is the more and more we move forward with higher purpose, the brighter and brighter people that will join our journey, and the better the content will be at the end of the day. I'm Mark Johnston, and we are media production leaders. Technology has been an amazing gift in our industry. It changes every single day. We have more and more devices, and I find that with a shorter attention span, we're creating more and more short-form content, and that's fantastic. It's a way to create connection with your audience and build a message system that an audience is going to take away with them. But with more and more short-form content, I think it's really important as content creators, we keep the big picture in mind, that long view of what is the ultimate goal of this messaging. If you string all these messages together, at the end of the day, what's the end game? What is it you're trying to do with your audience? Are you trying to inspire them, change their lives, create a movement of some kind? So smaller content works great as long as we're keeping the end result in mind and using that as our North Star. Building meaningful connections, one of my favorite traits within the industry because it also reflects life outside of work. Meaningful connections and authenticity are really two of the strongest tools that you can use when it comes to media production. Everything from buyers to coworkers to talent, authenticity is the key word. It has to be genuine. And for that, through my career, I've always made an effort to have authentic connection with those that I'm working with and also those that I'm selling to. It's an investment when it comes to the ultimate sale of content. When you have that connection with a buyer, an executive, a team of executives, and you really do care about who these people are, what they carry each day, what level of work they bring to your project, that comes through in your conversation and in your connection. And to maintain those over the years has really done really well for me in my own career. A great example of this is just a month ago, we had a new project ready to pitch the CBC, and my mentor, Barbara Williams, is now the head of CBC. And almost 30 years later, maybe 25, writing an email to Barb at CBC and getting a response back within an hour reminded me that that's an authentic connection. That's a relationship I deeply adored when I was younger and learning. And over the years, you maintain those relationships. It's partly why markets and conferences and industry gatherings are important because it gives you a chance to really nurture those existing relationships and also build new ones. Leading with higher purpose is a guide that I've used in my own career, especially in recent years, because anyone can create content today, TikTok, broadcast, so many different outlets and platforms to play with. But when it comes to guiding a project or guiding a team or even guiding myself, I think having a higher purpose is that North Star that we need to get from A to B and to be reminded why we're getting from A to B. It's not just about profit or how many episodes or how many eyeballs you reach. It's about what that impact is. And I find that those of us that create content, if you have a higher purpose in mind and always remember the why, it ends up having more impact with your audience. They want more content and everybody wins. At one point, I closed one production company thinking I'd become a meditation teacher, and something came to me very strongly to say, take your production skills from over here, move it over here and create what is called content with higher purpose. And therefore, my company, Eelay Media, was created. And Eelay means light in Lakota. And so to me, every project that we do at Eelay Media has to have a higher purpose, including the most recent project, my documentary, on a very close friend, Gordon MacDonald, called One More Step. Double amputee, ending up climbing a mountain in Europe with Wim Hof and realizing that he is enough. That to me is content with higher purpose. Inspiring your creative vision. Obviously, there's many ways to do this as content creators. We can absorb as much content from elsewhere as we can and be mindful of what else is happening in the world, be inspired by that, whether it's a genre or category, and then doing your own version of that. But to me, part of the strength of staying balanced in your own life is a way to inspire your creative vision. I'll often go down to the lake and do a morning walk and just feel nature around me. Or maybe you're passionate about tennis or horseback riding or hiking. A way to get out of nature, and it's something that I know the First Nations communities do very well. When you're grounded, as they say, on Grandmother Earth, and you're connected to other things around you, you're generally more open to creative inspiration. If you can let go of the day-to-day life that you run, whether it's getting groceries or watching Netflix, those things that kind of become pattern for us, and break down those patterns a little bit, get outside, be in nature, work with people that do something completely different than you, because I find inspiration comes in many forms. And if you shake up the process a little bit, let the winds of change kind of blow through, then it's obviously an opportunity for more creative inspiration for your own vision. And then you come back to the project, you come back to work, you've exhaled, you've had a little bit of a refresher, and you're ready to do that much more work in a very highly creative way. Producing real stories for good business. Unscripted, I think the magic of unscripted is authenticity and real characters living real storylines. Often in unscripted, it's the opportunity to let go of where the dialogue might happen because the characters are unfolding the story for you as opposed to scripting story. Real stories are relatable, and I think when an audience can relate to your content, there's a deeper connection and you build a wider audience. And for that, authenticity, authenticity, authenticity. You can navigate a story, you can help chaperone something from beginning to middle to end. But at the end of the day, the characters have to have their own genuine energy as part of this project because that's where the authenticity of storyline comes from. And so those people watching on whatever platform, when they connect to a story because they either see themselves or someone they know, or they care about the characters because they're living genuine, authentic lives, there's a deeper sense of commitment to watching the whole story unfold. And I find that's one of the magical pieces of unscripted is the authenticity and creating content that revolves around real characters, living real lives with real story arcs. As a storyteller, one of the gifts in my journey is a connection that started for me when I was 8 years old. There was a series on called The Bionic Woman. Lindsay Wagner, the actress, played Jamie Summers, who ended up becoming bionic, like her counterpart, the $6 million man, played by Lee Majors. 8 years old, you're very open to influence, and I found that that series was deeply inspiring to me because it dealt with human potential. And to this day, actress Lindsay Wagner, who's become a very close friend of mine, deeply honored, believes in advocating for human potential. Any project that she's chosen, generally speaking, has some thread of celebrating and nurturing and inspiring to live at your full potential. Years later, now that we have a friendship and she's just narrated my first documentary, that reminds me that those connections from a very young age really do shape your journey. And to be able to have the opportunity to work with Lindsay has been one of the gifts of my journey. Taking care of your own needs first is something that took me a long time to learn. In the early days, I was more about the project and the work and the deadline. And as you do more and more of that over the years, it starts to wear down your body and your spirit. When I started navigating towards mindfulness, meditation, different paths of spirituality, a major shift happened for me because I was able to find a balance in my own life that made me more prepared, more balanced, and more inspired to create content. So my advice would be keep in mind what brings you joy, what your passions are, and are you taking care of yourself? Not only emotionally, but also spiritually, physically, and mentally. These are 4 traits that we often forget when we're seeing a deadline approach and we perhaps can't sleep because you're thinking about all the things that still have to be done. I find if we take care of ourselves first and ensure that you're in a balanced energy, that creates better content, connects with a wider audience because that genuine energy comes through in the content you've created. I find as a leader in the media industry, the more and more I lead with higher purpose, the deeper my connections become in the industry, the wider my audience becomes, and the more fulfilled I am at the end of the day as a storyteller.